Hello, everyone. This is the most magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm just going to be doing some SR during the SR tournament. Plus, on top of that, I am going to be doing some road maps. And while I'm doing all of that, I am finally going to be going into my review on the Walking Dead spin-off, The Ones Who Live. Now, I know I'm a bit late on it, but, I finally have the time to get to it. And of course, we're going to be going over, I'm going to be going over Season 1, Episode 1, Years. And obviously, it will contain some spoilers. Well, more than just some. But I'm not gonna talk about every single little detail, but I do have some notes written down. And this episode proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that Andrew Lincoln, why he hasn't gotten an Emmy for acting or some kind of major award is criminal. And there's a part between Rick and a certain character, which I have most of that confrontation of dialogue wrote down. And so, yeah, I'll let you guys know when I'm getting ready to get into the spoilers. That way, if you want to click off the video, you may. Or if you want to stick around, hey, you're welcome to do so. And before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing alright, and I'm staying safe for the most part. And I'm looking forward to finally get into this. So, let's start off with some SR, shall we? So, this might be a little boring, but you guys are going to get a look on how I deal with the reflect damage stages. I mean, it's nothing special or interesting, but you're going to get a look at how I'm doing things. Literally, this is what I do. Especially if it's yellow and red. You're gonna see. You can use S-Class. You can, ladies and gentlemen. Although, I'm gonna change that out. I'm gonna change Zachary out, actually. Hold on. Real quick. Who's another alert I can use? I guess Lydia. Why not? Let's wait till they get closer. We want to have Tanya's adrenaline rush up as soon as possible. There you go. That's why I still use Tanya on SR. Here in a minute, I'm going to give it about a minute or less, and I'm going to get ready. I'm ready to get into this spoiler review, honestly, because, I got some stuff to talk about. I know this might be a bit of a hot take, and this actor has nothing to do with The Walking Dead, but I just gotta say, I think Andrew Lincoln is a much, much better actor than Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds is overrated and not that funny at all, to be honest. I don't get it, but perhaps his comedy is not for me, and it's clearly not for me because I tried to get into Deadpool. I watched the first movie. I watched it all the way through. And it just didn't connect with me. It really didn't stick with me. I enjoyed the freeway part at the beginning. What was that, like the first 20 minutes or so? But after that, I don't know. I got bored quick. It just didn't stick with me personally. But anyway, enough about Deadpool. I'm going to go ahead and get into my spoiler review, so if you are not caught up, I would recommend clicking off the video right now. And if you are caught up, or if you just don't care and you want to stick around anyway, you're more than welcome to do so. So, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, so here's my spoiler review for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, Season 1, Episode 1, Years. So, the episode starts with Rick sitting at a desk, and he's looking out a window, and he's got this TV on in his room. I'm assuming it is his room. And there's a news report, so he's obviously with the CRM. And there's a news report stating that this facility has been bombed. And we'll get a little bit more into exactly what that is. So then the camera turns to Rick's face, and you can see the pain in his eyes that, you know, he's got a piece of glass in his hand and he's thinking about just ending it right there, right then and there. But he doesn't. He thinks about it. So that must tell you how bad the CRM actually is. Remember, back in season 7, when Negan was first introduced and he was the big bad villain, yeah, Negan did bring Rick to one of his lowest points in his life, but I don't ever remember Rick ever just wanting to give up on life itself. But with the CRM, he's kind of had that thought. So, we find out that Rick has tried to escape the CRM not once, not twice, but he's tried to escape 4 different times. 3 other times, the third time that we saw him try to escape the CRM was at the very end of the main series. So he's tried like hell to get home, and he just can't do it, and you can see the pain in his eyes. It's like he's pretty much lost all hope, that he's stuck there at the CRM, because, I mean, he's tried multiple times. The 4th time that he tries to escape is actually getting ready to happen. We're going back a little bit in the episode. So, all of the CRM soldiers have Rick and all of these other people, including this one woman named Thorn, I believe her name is. And they are, what did they call them? I know they had a name for them, including Rick, but they're pretty much like prisoners. And they have to go out into these woods to kill these walkers that are on fire. And somehow they got, like, they're not, like, bursting into flames like they just walked through a giant fire. No, they got fire or lava or some shit in just certain spots on, certain spots in the walkers. Don't know how that happened. I'm guessing the CRM is behind that. But anyway, they have to kill these walkers out to speed up their citizenship to the CRM, and since Rick has tried to escape excuse me, since Rick has tried to escape 3 other times, he's tethered. He's got this thing around his wrist. That's going to be important. That's going to be very, very important in just a moment. So think of it, Rick is hooked to this device. Think of it like a retractable dog leash where he can only go a certain length before he's pulled back, right? Except it's around his wrist. So they tell them to go kill the walkers, and they do, and Rick takes a running start with his axe that he's got in hand, and he's doing a pretty good job killing walkers, left and right, and he's taking his frustrations out on the walkers, and, well, Rick gets to a point where he ends up going too far, and he's pulled back by the device around his wrist. And they're like telling him, Grimes, stop. You're going too far, pretty much. And he's like, sorry, I just lost my axe. So, but he didn't really. He did that on purpose to heat up his axe. That way, wait for it, that way he can cut his hand off. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think they would ever do it. I was like, holy shit. Rick actually cuts his hand off. Yes, to try to escape from the CRM. Like, holy shit. When that actually happened, I had to stop it. I had to stop it during the episode because I was in such disbelief that they actually cut the man's hand off. I mean, it's not funny, but it's just unbelievable that they finally did that, because they did that many moons ago in the comics, and, well, the difference is he did it to himself just now. So he's got only one hand, and he has to cauterize the wound, so to stop the bleeding and all that stuff, and well, he doesn't get far because they end up zapping him. And yeah, so there you go. They actually done it. They actually they finally cut his hand off. Well, he did it himself. That was like, I lost my shit, because I didn't think TV Rick I didn't think that would ever happen to him, but man, you gotta think about it. The CRM must be the real deal, legit, like a Thanos level threat. If he's desperate enough to cut his own hand off to try to escape, they must be the real deal. And so far, I would say they are. So they end up capturing him, and this guy named Okafor, he's not the leader of the CRM, at least where they're at, but he's like very high up. And you might be asking, if Rick has escaped, if he's tried to escape 4 times, you would think the CRM would have probably had him killed. But thanks to Okafor, he was able to talk to the higher ups of the CRM to convince them not to kill Rick, because Okafor really wants Rick to join the CRM, and they're in this other area where they have to use this it's some kind of weapon. It looks like kind of like a pitchfork, and they have to take out walkers as punishment. And Rick, he's struggling without that one hand. I'm not gonna get over that one, man. They actually had him cut his own hand off. Oh wow, that one is gonna get some getting used to, like, for sure. But, so after, excuse me, after Rick is done killing the walkers, he ends up taking a break, and this guy, Esteban, I believe his name is, this guy, Esteban, that's friendly toward Rick. He's about like one of the only friendly people in the CRM that's actually even like as long that Rick has been there, which they do clarify that the events that are taking place at the beginning is 5 years after the bridge. So he's been there 5 years at least, probably a little more than that. So Esteban, he's getting promoted to be a district manager for like the power and water plants, I believe. That's to run the water and electricity. So, you know, they're talking, and Esteban is like asking Rick, is Okafor still trying to get you to join? And he pretty much tells him, yeah. And he says, even still with your stump? He's like, yeah. And Esteban gives him the idea, you know what, you ought to join the CRM just to get Okafor off your back. So Rick ends up joining the CRM, but it's not due to allegiance to the CRM. No. Rick, he's thinking of this as, you know what, if I surrender and just say screw it, just say fuck it, you know, it'll give me another opportunity to get them to drop their guard, and it'll give me another opportunity to escape. And that's exactly what he's thinking, right? So he ends up joining the CRM, and they end up giving him a cool prosthetic hand. They just end up giving him a fist with a blade attachment, which is, hey, I mean, he's got to have something there. So as soon as he ends up joining the CRM, they end up giving him a hand prosthetic with the blade attachment. And, let's see, we end up finding out a little bit later on, after Rick has joined the CRM, we get introduced to who I'm assuming is probably going to be the main villain of the series. We get introduced to Major General Beal, and I'm not sure who that actor is, but it looks like I've seen him in something. Just like how he looks, I'm not meaning it as an insult or, you know, not whatsoever. No, I'm sure, you know, I'm coming off of it across as more of a compliment. The actor who's playing Beal, he just looks like a mean bastard. He just looks like a mean son of a bitch. He absolutely does. And I'm like thinking, yeah, I could see him playing this type of role for sure. But anyway, so Beal wants to ask, you know, he wants to know if Okafor is up to anything that he should know, and Rick says no. But let me go back a little bit. Okafor, he brings Rick and that other lady, Thorn, with him. And Okafor's pretty much like, oh, leadership, things have to change in the CRM. And he's like, I believe that you, Rick, and you, Thorn, have something special in both of you to help make that change to the CRM. Well, I mean, I don't know if Okafor, I don't know if his intentions are good or not. Well, we won't know that, because we'll get to it. Oh man, I almost feel bad for the guy, but we'll get to it. We won't know if his intentions were good or not. And Rick even questions that the CRM still wants to have me around, even though I tried to escape 4 different times. And he's like, that's pretty much because I convinced them not to take you out. So it's learned by Beale that Okafor was a part of the Air Force, and that Okafor was supposed to bomb Philadelphia, but instead he ended up bombing 4,000 Marines and his own wife in order to join the CRM. So I don't know. I don't know about Okafor. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll get to it. But, man. So, okay. So, after we find out that Okafor was a part of the Air Force and he switched sides so easily to join the CRMs, who is potentially like the Thanos level threat of The Walking Dead. Right now, they definitely seem to be on that level. So a little bit later on, Rick, he finally thinks he has an opportunity to escape, so he decides to go out in the field. He takes out a walker and cuts the walker's hand off, and Rick puts his dog tags on the walker, and he's gonna blow the walker up and stuff to make it look like he got killed and he's trying to escape. And he's only doing it because Esteban provided him information on where a certain tunnel goes underground, and so Esteban said, no, I can't help you, but he ends up helping him. But he's like, I helped you, but I didn't help you. He ended up helping him without saying. He kind of used code to help him. But anyway, he kills a walker, cuts the walker's hand off, and he's going to blow up the walker to make it look like he got killed. But then this little girl appears from out of nowhere from, I guess she was hiding from the walkers. And she's screaming, so instead of deciding to leave, he goes to help the little girl because, that's something that Rick would do, given that situation. And Thorne, she ends up following Rick, and she and Rick end up taking out the walkers, and she informs Rick that, look, he knows about you. And this is where we get to where I shouldn't say Rick, but this next part we're getting to is going to show why Andrew Lincoln should win an Emmy. Like, soon. How he doesn't have one, it's absolutely criminal. So Rick gets back, he sneaks into Okafor's sleeping quarters, and Okafor's asleep, and this is where the speech comes, this is where the dialogue from both of them come in. Rick says, "Wake up. You forgot to salute, soldier. What the hell do you know about me? I think of the dead all the time. Her name on the back of the note, your message in a bottle from escape number 3. I went to Rat Island and found the bottle. That was her on the phones, right? Yeah, I looked through those too. The child, though, was your daughter, right? Who effing knows? Michonne is an unusual name. Not many people out there, but if you start the search around where we picked you up, that's potent information. I don't care why you're covered in blood and why the bombs go out and why they don't come back. Yes, you do. This isn't my city. Those aren't my people. This isn't everything. You don't get to choose for the world. By the way, I don't have every single bit of this wrote down, but I have the major hitting points. You don't get to choose for me. I don't. You did. You made the choice. My wife is my choice. My daughter, my life is my choice. You think I went what I went through, did what I did to let anyone choose anything for me? You made the choice. You live for those people in that city because you don't have anything else but your duty. Percentages and yields, A's and fucking B's. Some GD good soldier with nothing. Now, obviously, I can't do it justice, but that's the gist of the conversation. And that's when we learn that Okafor, he bombed Atlanta, Los Angeles, and he was supposed to do the same to Philadelphia, but he ended up choosing to kill the 4,000 Marines and his wife in order not to destroy another city. So that's why I brought that up earlier, because that information is revealed during the conversation. And at this point, after they fight a little bit, and Rick, he's pretty much accepting the reality that he's stuck with the CRM and that he would rather die right here, right now, than continue to serve for the CRM. And he even tells Okafor to just go ahead and just do it now. And he's like, no, I won't do it. So, yeah, there you go. And then, okay, so this is, the earlier part where Rick is sitting in his room and he's listening to the broadcast about a facility being destroyed. This is where this comes into play. Now, I will say, I only had one fear about, this is only, I shouldn't say a fear, but this is one concern that I had going into The Ones Who Live. I felt like I needed to watch World Beyond before watching The Ones Who Live, and I feel like you don't have to if you didn't when it was on back in the day, because the only relevant information I've been told about World Beyond that is more so confirmed there is the fact that, okay, so the CRM have 3 bases in the United States. They have the one in the East Coast where Rick and Thorne is at. They have one in the Midwest, Omaha, and then they have one on the West Coast, Portland. World Beyond pretty much confirms that the Omaha facility gets destroyed by the CRM because they chose to reveal themselves. So the CRM, they had to eliminate them because, they felt like Omaha was going to, reveal the whole CRM's existence like the other 2 facilities. So yeah, I had somewhat of a suspicion that the CRM destroyed that facility, but by someone on Discord, they confirmed to me that, yeah, the CRM definitely destroyed the Omaha facility because that was confirmed in World Beyond. So I am glad they told me that. So there you go. There's confirmation that Omaha was destroyed by the CRM itself. Not, either from the Portland facility. No, maybe not. Maybe from the one in the East Coast. See, you know what? I'm just going to assume that the CRM, a combination from the Portland and the East Coast, like came in and took out the Omaha facility. Although I hope that's a little bit more cleared up in the coming episodes, but pretty much the gist of it is the CRM destroyed their own facility in Omaha, destroyed their own Omaha facility because Omaha exposed themselves to other people that are not a part of the CRM, and they felt like they were going to expose the other two facilities. So there you go. So we're getting to the end of the episode, and you know, pretty much Rick has accepted his fate, that he's never going to be able to escape from the CRM, that he's never going to be able to find Michonne ever again, and he's pretty much decided to start burning the letters and the notes and letters that he was going to write Michonne, because he's pretty much given up all hope that he's ever going to get out. So he's just learned to accept it. And sometime later, Rick is flying a helicopter with Okafor and a couple of other CRM soldiers, and I believe they are going to the West Coast. They're at least heading that way. They have a conversation. Rick has a conversation mentioning that his father used to burn up the crops. Like, when Rick was a child, at their old house, that his father used to burn up the crops to, I think he said, to reserve them. I believe that's what he said. But that's kind of a little bit more backstory into Rick a little bit, but not like 100% major, but they're talking about that, and then all of a suddenly, this is why we won't know if Okafor's intentions are good or not, because next thing you know, this object just flies through the helicopter window and impales Okafor, and it's just a smoking, and it's beeping a little bit, and then next thing you know, boom! Okafor gets blown to smithereens in the helicopter. I was about to say the hospital. Oh man, there ain't no hospital gonna help him after that. But the point is, yeah, Okafor, yeah, he's dead. He just got blown to smithereens in the helicopter next to Rick, and then another object hits the helicopter, and the helicopter goes down, and Rick is disoriented along with the other CRM soldiers, and they all have their helmets on except for Rick. Rick finally puts his helmet on, and him and the other soldiers are running for their lives, and then there's this big explosion, not like real big, but big enough explosion to kill one of the CRM soldiers, and then Rick, he's lucky because he just gets a little knocked down by the explosion, and he's crawling, and then next thing you know, you see a figure coming up behind the other CRM soldiers and killing them, picking them off one by one, until there's only Rick left, and that mysterious figure is Michonne. That's right. She's getting ready to kill Rick, and then she takes his helmet off, and then that's when she drops her sword, and like, oh my god, she looks shocked. So yeah, Rick and Michonne reunite at the very end of this episode. And that's pretty much how the episode ends. And I will talk about episode 2. And pretty much episode 1 was Rick's journey, Rick's path to reuniting with Michonne. So episode 2 is going to be Michonne's path to reuniting back with Rick. So there you go. Episode 2 is Michonne focused, pretty much. Although episode 1, I should say, is a lot more heavy focused on Rick, and Michonne only shows up at the last couple of minutes at the end of this episode. So, yeah, let me look over my notes. I don't think I forgot anything else, but man, what an episode. It was really good. It was really well done. I mean, it really was. So far, in my opinion, let me go ahead and make a ranking of the 3 most... Hold on, let me take a sip of this drink because I'm beginning to where I can't talk. Okay, let me go ahead and make a ranking of the 3 most recent spin-offs. Now, I know it isn't fair to go ahead and rank them because The Ones Who Live only have 2 episodes, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. But I am going to make an updated rank. In 3rd place, I got to put Dead City. Yep. I mean, Negan, he was great in it, but Maggie being an absolute Karen in that spinoff dragged it down. I'm not gonna lie. Let's be honest, did anyone watch Dead City for Maggie? Only Maggie? No. I would be hard pressed to find anyone that watched Dead City for Maggie only. Negan absolutely carried that show on his back, without a doubt. And there were some interesting side characters, especially Marshall, the Marshall from New Bordeaux. I'm interested to see where his character goes, because I know they are planning another season of that. So, 3rd place, Dead City. Right now, in 2nd place, I do have The Ones Who Live. And I'm not going to put it at number 1 right now because it's not a complete season just yet. So, yeah. Number 2 right now goes to The Ones Who Live. And, of course, number 1, I got my man, Daryl Dixon, at number 1 because it is a completed season. Plus, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than Dead City. But who knows if The Ones Who Live can keep up that pace, it might just top my man's spinoff. It just might. We'll have to see, but man, whew, that was a mouthful, I had to say. For episode 2's review, maybe I won't have as much to say, but we'll see, man. Those pop-ups are annoying. Holy crap. I don't care about Celtic smoke. Oh, there's the fishing god. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, my next video will be on the character review of Kenny, the fishing guide. Didn't I just see that pop up? I mean, come on. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. And, you know, if you have any thoughts on The Ones Who Live or on RTS in general, let me know. I really enjoyed that first episode. It was really fudging awesome. It really was. And that's all I got for you guys for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Buck Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.